in that campaign. Again, neighbors helping neighbors to solve the problems, to get the right person in the job so that these things get better.
Sorry.
People from all corners, right? We got people from the Democratic Party, we have some independents, and maybe there's even a few Republicans out there. We know that she's the candidate that can bring our party together and bring the people of New Hampshire together and beat Trump in November. So as I look around the room today, it gives me hope. Elizabeth's message of big structural change transcends labels and ideology.
Excuse me, could you hold this?
That's why she's the candidate who can unify us all. She's the candidate who can lead us. And she's the candidate who can win. So, without any further ado, because you're not here to listen to me, you're here to listen to Elizabeth, I'd like to take, as soon as she comes up, I'll introduce her. I hope you'll join me in Elizabeth's fight, and please join me in welcoming Elizabeth.
George was pretty terrific this week. So back here with you, it feels like family being with all of you. In fact, I brought family. My son Alex is here. Just so you know, he's down here in front. Alex has been my tech support since 2nd grade. True story, true story. And now he's picked up a second job. He runs his own small business, but he's picked up a second job, and that is support your mother when she runs for president of the United States. I also brought today a good
I'm not sitting there.
No, I know.
Bailey. That I'll only do a little bit, and we'll take as many questions as we can, and then we'll do double selfie lines. Bailey will do one, I'll do another. You can choose, or you can get the complete set, whatever you want to do. We have one job in November: beat Donald Trump. About, and that is take back the Senate and put Mitch McConnell out of the job. So here's the thing. I keep trying to read what people are talking about, hear from folks, and folks are talking about that this fight against Donald Trump may not be winnable. This may be an unwinnable fight, right? His approval ratings are up. Oh, I think I got some people in here who are ready to get in the fight, right? But I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about unwinnable fights. Because I think they tell us a lot about ourselves, who we are, and the kind of country that we want to have. I was thinking about my own unwinnable fight. And that is, I have known what I wanted to be since 2nd grade. When Mrs. Lee singled me out, I knew what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a public school teacher. Can I hear it for America's Public? of anything. Nobody in my family graduated from college. And my mother actually didn't think college was such a great idea for me. You have to remember, I grew up in America. It wasn't telling little girls they could run for president. It was telling little girls mostly get married and find a nice man to take care of you, right? That was number one. So the whole time I was growing up, I would talk about how I was going to be a teacher, and my mother would talk about she'll outgrow it. By the time I graduated from high school, we didn't have money, and my mother thought this was fine. I could get a part-time job, maybe find a nice boy. And I took my babysitting money to the 7-Eleven to do college applications, schools where I could find a scholarship. And turned out I found a scholarship, and then my story just gets bumpier and bumpier. Found a scholarship, start off, everything looks like it's going, then at 19, I fell in love, got married, and dropped out. And then found another college, computer college. It cost $50 a semester. And that's what opened the door for me just enough that I finished my 4-year diploma and I became a special education teacher. It's about living my dream job. I love those babies. I taught special ed. I had 4 to 6-year-olds. I love the work. But it's also about winning unwinnable fights. I wasn't going to make it from the kid I was in 2nd grade all the way through to be a public school teacher, except for the fact that every time I got knocked down, I got back up, and America, taxpayers, had invested in public education so that I had a chance to get a good high school education and to graduate from a community college that cost $50 a semester. Unwinnable fights are about getting in the fight and staying in the fight. I heard this again. I was thinking about it later. When, after the financial crash, I'd gone down to Washington. I'd been asked to come down and help set up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I came back to Massachusetts. The Republicans had said I couldn't stay and run. Do you remember pre-approved credit cards? Anyone here remember pre-approved? I was a pre-rejected nominee. They said, after they passed the law for the state, they said she can't run. So I had set it up for a year, but I came back to Massachusetts. And some of you may remember this person named Scott Brown. Well, I got him first. He was our incumbent popular Republican senator. And so people started calling me and said, you should get in this fight. You should get in this fight. Even though he has a high approval rating, had plenty of money in the bank, had a great story, was very telegenic, said you should get in this fight. You will lose this fight, but you should get in this fight. Now I have to say, Democrats get a better sales pitch. But it was the unwinnable fight. I had never run for anything before. But every time I got knocked down, I got back up. And I got knocked down again, and I got back up. Even on election day, people were saying, too close to call, not sure if we're going to do this. I beat Scott Brown by 7.5 points. So the reason I say this is because I've been thinking about unwinnable fights. Well, they're only unwinnable if you don't get in the fight and fight it. Think about as a country how it is that we build an America where more people have more opportunities to win their unwinnable fights. That's why we're here. We think about the role of government. What is government there for? It's to provide for the national defense, absolutely. But it is there to help us build opportunity. And right now, we've got a government that's building opportunity. Oh man, it's building opportunity like crazy. It's working like crazy. or a thin slice at the top. If you're born into privilege, this government works for you. Right? If you're already the CEO of a giant corporation, this government works for you. If your pathway is to be a well-paid lobbyist in Washington, this government works for you. The problem is it's not working for much of anyone else. It works for giant drug companies, just not people trying to get a prescription filled. It works for people who want to make money by investing in locking kids up at the border, private detention centers, and private prisons. Just not for the people whose lives are torn apart by those places. It works great for giant oil companies that want to drill everywhere. Just not for the rest of us who see climate change bearing down upon us. A government that works great for those who have money, that works great for those who can hire armies of lobbyists and lawyers, and it's not working so great for everyone else. That is corruption, pure and simple, and we need to call it out for what it is. Corruption, the influence of money in Washington, and whatever issue brought you here today, whether it is the high price of drugs, whether it's student loans, whether it's climate change, if there is a decision to be made in Washington, I guarantee it has been influenced by money. It has been shaped by money. It has had exceptions created by money. Money, money, money in Washington. And we are not going to be able to fix this system by just nibbling around the edges of those problems. We're not going to be able to fix it by papering over it or looking the other way. The only way we're going to be able to fix it is with big structural changes. This is our chance. 2020 is our chance. People talk about the unwinnable fight. Boy, they don't know what's coming their way. 2020, we're in this fight, and we're going to win. So, let's get some questions. Who's got questions? We've got questions down here. This is great. Let's get started. Let's do as many as we can. Hi.
Hi. I was wondering, so I come from a family that's very politically divided, which
I do
as
too.
you can imagine is difficult at times. And I was wondering how confident you are that we're going to be able to heal our country after this last administration, and what your first steps for that would be.
Good. So it is a great question. I was born and raised in Oklahoma. I have 3 older brothers. One is a Democrat. Do the math. Right? 2 are still Republicans. Here's the thing. If we just stick with our old talking points, they take their Republican talking points, we take our Democratic talking points, we just keep pulling this country further and further apart. We just keep having the same arguments over and over and over. But if we change that and we look at what's broken in this country a little differently, then I think we got a chance to come together. So let me just give you an example. I was talking about corruption. I talked to my 3 brothers, and we started talking not long ago. I was back in Oklahoma last month, and we started talking about Amazon, Halliburton, Eli Lilly, companies that last year reported billions, that's with a B, billions of dollars in profits. And everybody ready? How much did they pay in taxes? 0! 0. And you know what? That really gets to all 3 of my brothers, because they get it, that this government is playing them for chumps. You know, look, they look at it this way. They say, somebody's got to pave the roads and bridges. Somebody's got to provide for the defense. My brothers pay their taxes. How can it be that companies that are producing billions of dollars in profits are paying nothing? And the answer is because they figured out, spread a little money around Washington and you get those tax breaks you want. You get those special exceptions and those individualized rules that mean you pay nothing. We talk about corruption, and here's the deal. That's something that all the Democrats can run on. This is something all of us can be together on. We don't have to divide over this issue. And independents and Republicans get it as well. So we talk about corruption and what it means in this country. We start coming back together. And here's the best part. We don't have to just talk about it. I got a plan for that, right? We got to fix it. We got to fix it. Here's the good news. I have the biggest anti-corruption plan since Watergate. Yes. Here's the bad news. We need the biggest anti-corruption plan since Watergate. That's the bad news. But like any good plan where there's lots of money, so it's got lots of pieces to it to push back. Let me just tell you a little bit about this plan. First part, end lobbying as we know it. Lock the revolving door between Wall Street and Washington. Enough. Make the Supreme Court follow basic rules of ethics. I could do these all night long, but let me just give you one more. You really want to hose out some corruption in Washington? Make every single person who runs for federal office put their tax returns online. The first bill I want to propose in the Senate is my anti-corruption bill, because that's one that Republicans and Democrats across this country get. You keep pushing from the outside, I'll lead from the inside. That's how we hold our government accountable, and that is how we begin to bring this country back together. Hello.
Hello. I'm currently studying to be a science teacher.
Tell me your name.
I'm Anna.
Hi, Anna.
I'm studying to be a science teacher.
Yay!
And I'm very passionate about the ocean and our relationship with the ocean. And I'd love to hear more about your Blue New Deal.
Oh, that is fabulous. Thank you very much. Can we broaden this out just a little bit, though, to talk about climate change overall? Okay, so let's talk about it. Climate change threatens every living thing on this planet. And the thing that scares me the most is every time that the researchers go back and get more data and then pump it into the models, they find out that the problem is worse than we thought, and we have less time than we thought. So the urgency of the moment cannot be overstated. So I want to tell you what my overall approach is on climate. This is not going to be your plan versus my plan. We got to start trying it and trying all of it. We got to try whatever works. And here's the basic approach I want to use. This is very controversial in Washington, but I feel safe enough here to be able to talk about this, and that is I believe in science. That our best shot at saving this planet is that we need to go tenfold on our increase in research and development, that we need to innovate our way out of this problem. So I got a plan for that. And here's one of the best parts of it, is to think about both the risks we face, but also the opportunities. There's an upcoming $27 trillion market for green energy, green cleaning up carbon out of the air and out of the water. This is worldwide. Desalinization, and much of this has not yet been invented. We kind of know the general direction we got to go, but we haven't yet invented it. So here's what I propose. We increase by tenfold what we put into research and development, basic science, applied science, all the way through. And then we say, you can build whatever the scientists produce, but you got to build it right here in the United States of America. manufacturing jobs right here in America. American taxpayers are going to pay for the research. American taxpayers are going to see the jobs that come out of that. We're going to do this. You rightly identify that I'm all for the Green New Deal, but I'm going to be blunt. It's not enough. We also need a Blue New Deal to protect our oceans. We need to clean the trash out of our oceans. We need to attack ocean acidification. Our oceans are the life of our planet. And we have used them, as we know, for centuries as just dumping grounds. And what's happening in our oceans, we have far too little research on it, and we have no plans to clean it up. So take a look at ElizabethWarren.com, because there's a whole bunch to this. Take a look at the Blue New Deal and understand that we have to be world leaders on climate. We are world leaders, just we're leading in the wrong direction right now. We've got to be world leaders, and part of how we will do that is on oceans plan. One more thing I've got to mention every time we talk about climate. We also have to talk about environmental justice. Yes. Because for decades and decades, we as a country, our government has permitted toxic waste dumps, polluting factories to be located right next to or in Black and brown communities. It has damaged the health of children, damaged the health of seniors and vulnerable people, and destroyed property values. Who wants to move in next to a toxic waste dump? I have committed, as part of my environmental plan, part of my solutions to climate change, is that we have to make environmental justice a central part of that. I've got $1 trillion commitment that we have to clean up the messes we have made for decades in the past. Thank you. Great question. Hi, tell me your name.
My name is Linda.
Hi, Linda.
I have a question. As you know, there are many other candidates in this primary
Yep.
race, and some of them are not doing as well as others, but they still have some very good ideas.
Yes.
And I might think in particular about Andrew Yang and even Tom Steyer. And my question is similar to a game that I play with my husband every night at the dinner table, which is, what cabinet post should we put that person in?
That's a good game. I like that.
So I'm asking if you have thought about where you might use these wonderful ideas and these people in your cabinet.
So that is a fabulous question, and I love the idea. I'll tell you how I think of it. I haven't thought of it so much in cabinet, but yes, it's a great idea. I have already started doing this in the following sense. Look, we started this race for the presidency with, 25 people? 497? 2,821? I try to remember what the exact number, but a lot of people, right? A lot of people. And a lot of those folks are not still in the race. And I also want to talk about money in politics, because that's the principal reason that many of them are not in this race. But they are people with really good ideas. So when other people dropped out of this race, I already talked to them and pulled their ideas, some of their campaign staffers, and ultimately a lot of their volunteers into my campaign. I think it's the right way to build a campaign, and it means we get the benefits. So Julian Castro had fabulous ideas around universal pre-K, and was a big part of helping me get oriented on how to do this plan. And Julian is an important part now of my campaign. Kamala Harris, terrific this election, and in particular, had a really creative idea on how we protect women's reproductive rights. I talked to the Kamala, and it's now part of my platform. And it's part of making Kamala part of this as well. Cory Booker's baby bonds, very, very interesting. I'm still working on that one, but that's the idea. I believe that this isn't a competition. We're just going to pick one good idea. Jay Inslee on climate. I picked up a lot of Jay stuff, particularly around regulation. He's got some great ideas. This is how we get the best ideas, and it's how we bring our party together. So I have staffers, I have volunteers who I'll notice sometimes in the cell phone line. They've still got a Cory sticker on their cell phone when they're on their iPhone. They're getting ready to take a picture. They may still have a Beta sticker on it, and you know what? That's great. Because we need all the smart Democrats and all the people that Thank you. Yeah. What's that? Oh, pull more tickets. Woo! We're doing this. What a cute little bucket you got there, George. Do we need to mix them up? Oh, I don't touch them.
No.
It's a corruption issue. I'm not. I don't want anybody to wonder.
So same operating theory as before. I'll call out the last three numbers. Somebody yell persist, and then you make your way to get in line so you can get, we're going to call 4 more tickets. If my glasses cooperate. 314.
314. We got it? All right. Fabulous.
$302.
Yes, that is all right.
I didn't hear that persist.
There you go.
There you go.
That's fabulous. It's like bingo, right? Oh, and I'm just one number off. All right.
One more.
Okay.
I have to count again.
Okay.
335.
335. Do we have 335? That's you. All right. Fabulous. Okay. I thought it was going to be like in Iowa City. We called out some numbers. There's this long silence, and finally this woman said, I think I have the number, but I put my used gum in it. So, but she had the number. So, okay.
I got free school. Nice.
That's good. I'm glad Miss Terry is nice.
All the free schools.
Do you think all children should be able to go to preschool?
Yeah.
So wrong. So let's talk for a minute about how we get that done, because it's such a good idea. Here's where we start. You all know me. You're going to do a plan. It's got to have all the right pieces to it. I got to figure out how to pay for it, how we're going to get it adopted. But here's the one that starts with, it is time for a wealth tax in America. Now, the basic idea is this is on fortunes bigger than $50 million. So if your first $50 million is free and clear, guy in the back says, this woman is not unreasonable. Okay. First $50 million is free and clear, but your 50 millionth and first dollar, you got to pitch in 2 cents. And 2 cents on every dollar after that. You hit $1 billion, you got to pitch in a couple of pennies more. That's the basic idea. And just so everybody's tracking with me here, anybody in here own a home or grow up in a family that owned a home? Yeah. You've been paying a wealth tax forever. It's just called a property tax, right? And all I'm saying that's different is for that top, little tiny bit at the top, about 0.1% of American families, that their property tax should include the real estate, but also the stock portfolio, the diamonds, the Rembrandt, and the yacht. just so you understand, the 99%, which might include some of you, last year paid about 7.2% of your total wealth in taxes. That top 1/10 of 1%, they paid 3.2% of their total wealth in taxes. They have these great fortunes that they're continuing to grow. 6%, 8%, 10% a year. I'm just saying take your 2% and let's move it over. Now you may have seen, there are some billionaires who don't like this plan. Some went on TV and cried. Others ran for president. But they argue, they say, look, you're punishing success. We got out there, we had great ideas, we worked hard, and my view is, you built a great fortune in America, good for you. I think that's great, fabulous, good for you. I like success, but here's the thing. You built a great fortune in America, I guarantee you built it at least in part using workers all of us pay to educate. You built it at least in part getting your goods to market on roads and bridges all of us help pay to build. You built it at least in part protected by police and firefighters. All of us help pay the salaries for it. And we're glad to do it. We're Americans. We want to invest in opportunity. All we're saying is when you make it big, I mean really big, I mean top 1/10 of 1% big, pitch in 2 cents so everybody else gets a chance to make it in America. And now, what can we do with 2 cents? Here comes the answer to Alistair's question. You know what we can do? We can provide universal child care, early education, universal pre-K for every 3-year-old and 4-year-old in America. That's right. And we can stop exploiting the people who do this work, largely black and brown women, and raise the wages of every child care worker and preschool teacher in America. 2 cents. We can do that for our babies, but we can also, with that same 2 cents, we can put $800 billion into our public schools, new federal dollars. For the first time in history, we can fully fund IDEA so children with disabilities get the full education they're entitled to. We can do all of that, and we can provide universal, tuition-free, technical school, 2-year college, 4-year college for anybody who wants to get an education. Colleges and universities, level the playing field. 2 cents, and I'll mention one more. We can do all of that for our babies, all of that for K-12, all of that for people who want to get an education after high school, and we can cancel student loan debt for 43 million Americans. I love this. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Kaylee.
Kaylee?
Kaylee, yeah. My question is regarding healthcare. So one of the challenges we have currently and other systems who have implemented something similar to Medicare for All is that wait times are really long. And to see a specialist in particular, that can take a while. And so given we already suffer from that, and we know that's one of the challenges with that implementation, what's your plan for easing that and trying to combat that issue?
So let me just start with the direct answer to your question. And how long the wait times are really basically depend on what reimbursement rates you give. You give adequate reimbursement rates, and then you have enough people who are in the field. And that's what's going to make the big difference. So when we talk about other systems and we say, oh, that one doesn't work as well, then the answer is there are pieces you can adjust to this to make it work. It's just a question of if that's what we want to do. And here's how I look at this. I believe that healthcare is a basic human right, and we fight for basic human rights for everyone. Last year, 36 million Americans got a prescription that they couldn't afford to fill. Think about what that means. They were sick enough or worried enough to make an appointment, go to the doctor. The doctor looked at it and was concerned enough to write a prescription for treatment. And then the person walked out, held that prescription and said, it's that or groceries. It's that or pay the rent on time. That means we got a lot of suffering going on in this country. By the way, that includes people with health insurance. So here's how I see this. We need to get as much help to as many people as quickly as we can. And that means for me, my first day as president, I will do what a president can do all by herself on health care. That's where I'm going to start this. 2 parts to that. First, defend the Affordable Care Act from the sabotage of the Trump administration. And second, use the authority that the President of the United States already has. This does not take a new act from Congress. Use the authority that the President already has to reduce the costs of commonly used prescription drugs. Anybody in here use insulin or know someone who uses insulin? We can bring down the cost of insulin, EpiPens, HIV/AIDS drugs to treat mental illness. We can bring down the cost of those drugs and take hundreds of millions of dollars of costs out of this system, get a lot of help to a lot of people as quickly as possible. And that's what I want to do. That's how I want to start this process. Hi, tell me your name.
My name is Shu.
Hi, Shu.
Hi. I have a question about the U.S. government.
Okay.
So, I learned in 7th grade that the U.S. government is built on a check and balance system that assures power
How's that working for us?
can be concentrated or act with impunity. But as we saw last week, that's not true anymore.
Yeah.
So currently the Senate and the judicial system work for the president. And when you become the president, how do you plan to solve the unbalance of power?
So let me just start with something that evidently a majority of Republicans in the Senate do not agree with. I believe in the Constitution of the United States of America. I will tell all of you that, you get shocked by things that happen in the Trump administration. Anyone remember he'd been in what, a few days when he put a Muslim ban in place? And I just thought, we don't do this in America, right? Locking up children down at our border, separating from their parents, standing up and saying at the State of the Union that he's going to protect people with pre-existing conditions at the same time that they're trying to overturn the laws that protect people with pre-existing conditions. I mean, it's one after another, after another, after another. But this one, whatever you think about the House process and impeachment, just whatever you think about it, once the House delivered to the Senate articles of impeachment, we are bound by the Constitution of the United States to have a trial. And a trial means a fair trial. And the fact that the Republican senators were willing to lock arms and say, yeah, we'll have a sham trial with no evidence and no documents that are brought forward, tells me that their loyalty, first loyalty, is to a person, to the President of the United States, to Donald Trump, and not to the Constitution of the United States. That is fundamentally wrong, and this is not just to do the same, and Congress to do the same. We need to reestablish rule of law in this country. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kira.
Hi, Kira.
And this is my friend Claire. And,
Hi, Claire.
We were just wondering that we
in schools seem to take a lot of tests, and not a lot, like, so we don't do a lot of learning.
Yeah.
It's like, in other states, they take even more tests, and I just feel like sometimes it's a little unbalanced, and I wanted to know a little more about what you're going to do about, like, things in school.
Okay, so let me start by telling you how I feel about that. We need to end high-stakes testing. So let's make this, if I can, here a little bit bigger question, okay, overall, because I just want everybody to hear this. You know, we talk a lot about Congress and how we're going to get things through Congress, and we got to get a majority in the Senate and what that'll mean, and so on and so forth. And that's all important stuff. There are a lot of things that you can only do by going. But most of all, we need people who are not going to be on the side of the industries they're supposed to regulate. We need people who are on the side of the people who are supposed to be certified. This is the last one. Last question. Oh, dang, these are fun. Okay.
I'm wondering, at night when you're lying in bed whispering into Bailey's ear, and you're kind of...
He's asleep right now.
He's asleep. And imagining, you know, like the parlor game that I play is thinking about running mates and what tag team is going to beat the monster. Do you whisper into Bailey's ear, who is going to be my Mike Pence? Who is going to look at me with adoring eyes every time I next day? Or are you...
I already have a dog.
Yeah. I think you answered my question.
Yeah. But I actually will, though. I want to say a word about, it's the kind of people you want in public service. As vice president, but also as the heads of all these agencies, as your cabinet nominees, because we had an earlier question on cabinet nominees. What kind of people do I want? I want people who are there because they believe in public service, but I want people who are going to be good partners in this fight. I want people who are willing to pick up the tools that are already there and to use them on behalf of the public. You know, it's so easy to get discouraged and to say Mitch McConnell just ruins everything. There's a lot of truth in that too. But it isn't everything. There is a lot we can still do. And so here's how I think of just this whole thing going forward. What kind of vice president do I want? I want someone who's going to be in the fight with me. I want a partner. I want somebody who's going to say, I'll pick up part of this and I'll get out and help make this happen. That's what I want as the head of all of the cabinets. That's what I want to see. Because we've got to make change. We can't just say nibble around the edges. We got to pick up these tools and we got to use them because we're running out of time. We have got to do this together. So those are the kind of people I want. I want smart people. I want people who challenge. I want people who have ideas. I want people who've worked in the fields. I want people who believe that they can be part of putting government on the side of our citizens instead of on the side of giant corporations. And I want to wrap this up with a story about a toaster. You did not see that coming, right? So here's my story about a toaster. Back when I was a young mom, toasters could burn down houses. And the way this worked is, you remember those little toaster ovens? They didn't have automatic shut-off switches. And so you could put 4 slices of bread in, flick on the toaster oven, hear the baby cry, run down to the other end of the house, be gone a little longer than you thought, and when you came back, the flames would be leaping off the bread 6 to 8 inches. Catch the curtains on fire and the kitchen cabinets. Ask me how I know. Ultimately, my daddy became so frustrated with me over this. One year for Christmas, he bought me a fire extinguisher. And then a federal agency said, enough. Consumer Product Safety Commission just said, you can't sell toasters that can burn down people's houses. We're done. And they put little safety switches on them so they automatically shut off after 4 minutes or whatever it is. And that was the end of toaster fires. By the early 2000s in America, home mortgages had become so complex and so dangerous, they had a 1 in 5 chance of costing a family their home through foreclosure. Only this time, the federal agencies that were supposed to watch out for people were deep in the pocket of the banks. And they told the banks, just keep selling those things, right up until they crashed the economy and had to be bailed out by the American taxpayer. So after this happened, I had this idea for an agency like the toaster agency. This one was, no bank should be able to boost its profits by cheating people on mortgages, credit cards, payday loans, student loans, that sort of thing. Just a basic safety kind of issue. So I'm not in elected office. I just go down to Washington and basically knock on doors. Democrats, Republicans, I don't care. I'll talk to anybody to try to pitch my idea for this agency because they're starting to rewrite financial rules. They know we got to rewrite some financial rules. Well, I'm pitching this agency, and what I discover after a little bit is I'm getting the same 2 answers from everybody, basically. And the first answer is, that's a good idea. You can make a real difference. Structural change. And the second answer is, don't even try. Because you'll be up against big money, you'll be up against Wall Street, you'll be up against all the Republicans, and you'll be up against half the Democrats. You will never get it done. I get it. Big structural change is hard. But it was the right thing to do. So we jumped in the fight with donors, and in 2010, Barack Obama signed that agency into law. We won! The banks to return more than $12 billion directly to people they cheated. We can make it. And now, we've had 3 years of Donald Trump. And people across this country, there are a lot of people who are afraid. Afraid for their families and their neighbors. Afraid for children locked in cages down at our borders. Afraid for children in lockdowns in our public schools, afraid for women, for people of color, for LGBTQ people, for trans people, all of whose rights are up for grabs in this Supreme Court, afraid for our nation and afraid for our planet. And the danger is real. Our democracy hangs in the balance. And it comes to you, New Hampshire, to decide in this time of fear, what do we do? Are we going to cower? Are we going to back up? Are we going to go for timid solutions? Or are we going to fight back? Me, I'm fighting back. That's what I'm fighting back. Fight back. You bet. Fighting back is an act of patriotism. This union. We fought back against the Great Depression to rebuild this economy, and we fought back against fascism to protect our democracy. Americans are at their best when they see a problem and they fight back. the moment for small ideas. This is not the moment to nibble around the edges of big problems. This is the moment to meet big problems head on with bigger solutions. This is the moment for big structural change. That was carefully shaped by a bunch of consultants. I am not running a campaign with proposals that are carefully designed not to offend big donors. I passed that stop sign a long time ago. I am running a campaign based on a lifetime of fighting for working families. I am running a campaign from the heart because I believe in you. And I believe in the America that we can build together. An America where every single person has value. An America where every single child is worth the investment. An America where the most important part of our democracy is not money, it's people. An America is the America of our best values. And if you believe that America is possible and that America is worth fighting for, then I'm asking you, get in this fight. Join me in this fight. Vote for me on Tuesday. Go to ElizabethWarren.com. Knock on doors. Get in this fight. History will not come our way again. This is our moment to choose courage over fear. This is our moment to dream big, fight hard, and win.
I didn't know there's a person called Tarek Warren Bunny.
So, folks, if you want to have a picture, your picture taken with Senator Warren, the next president of the United States, what we're asking you to do, if you have young children or babies, please get to the front of the line. Going to line up over by the Win with Warren, and there'll be a staff person who will help out. So line up, get your pictures taken.
Thank you for coming up. Thank you.
How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good. What do you think?
I mean, we're very excited. We haven't been for a long time. I live in Vermont, so I don't get to go to Vermont.
Okay.
So,
there's a lady who asked a question about like Indiana and Tom Steyer, right? I think that's interesting. She didn't directly say like how she's gonna use them.
oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's a little. If I was Elizabeth Warren, I wouldn't want to answer that question about people who are still in the race, because that would seem kind of rude and presumptuous.
Yeah.
But I thought she did well to like compliment a lot of other people's ideas.
Yeah.
You know, like
Have you paid attention to other candidates?
I mean, I lived in New Hampshire all my life before moving to Vermont, so I've always been, you know, more politics has been in my face more.
Yeah. Like, how would you compare? Like, for example, Elizabeth and Indiana.
Yeah.
They both have plans.
Right.
They're both very detailed.
Yeah.
But Indiana is freedom dividend instead of wealth tax. it was bad at the time. Well, what do you think?
I mean, honestly, I didn't really consider Andrew Yang a lot because he hasn't held any public office yet. And I'm also, after 45 male presidents, I'm really excited to vote for a woman.
Oh, I see.
So I'm not
Yeah, that makes
necessarily
sense.
anti-Andrew Yang, I'm pro-Elizabeth Warren. So, yeah, I don't have anything against it. Just an excitement about it. So, yeah.
It'd be great to have a first.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
But
after
here's the
we've had
thing.
45 women
Here's the
presidents,
thing.
then we can go back to men.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a little concerned because I didn't feel like Warren or Amy would be, would do better than Hillary.
You can, I mean,
I
Hillary
just
got
have a
3
sense.
million more votes than Donald Trump, so she did pretty well.
Well, but I mean, it's electoral place.
Right.
You can't just say,
I don't
oh,
think
we
it's
won
Hillary's
by
fault that we
we won
lost.
by popularity
Right.
vote.
Right. I don't think it's Hillary's fault that we lost. I think it's Russia's fault that we lost. Russia's fault.
Russia?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Russia meddling?
Of course.
Huh. So you think they hacked into some of the voting machines?
Well, I don't think possibly, but I think it's more that
Through the media.
through the media.
Well, media was mostly
Yeah.
on Hillary's side.
I
the
disagree
time.
with you there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought